Hey everybody, welcome back to the Grad Centric podcast. Now, I hinted in a previous episode that I was going to cover Biden's student loan debt relief plan in detail because most people don't realize that it's actually three separate parts. So, the first part is an extension of the payment pause. The second part, and arguably the most controversial portion of this announcement, is blanket loan forgiveness. And then there's also the new income-driven repayment plan. So in this segment, I want to cover specifically the blanket loan forgiveness provision. So what does this mean? Well, this is up to $20,000 in debt cancellation. But for a lot of folks, it's only going to be 10,000. So what's the distinction there? Let's start with that. So the distinction is you get up to $20,000 in debt cancellation if you received at least one Pell Grant when you were in school. And of course, we know, or maybe you don't know, Pell Grants are given to families and students with significant financial need. So the reason why there's the distinction here is this is the Biden administration trying to give additional debt relief to who we presume are the individuals who need it the most, that demonstrated significant financial need when they were in college. For everybody else, it's going to be $10,000. Now, it is for certain income levels or income thresholds. So those income thresholds are $125,000 for individuals or $250,000 for those filing married or for married couples or heads of household. And so we do have the difference between those two, whether you're individual or married or head of household. So $125,000 for individuals, $250,000 for married couples or head of household. Now, for some individuals, this is going to be automatic, or at least that's what the Department of Education tells us, because there are millions of individuals who already have their income information on file with the Department of Education. So this might be because you recently filled out the FAFSA, for instance. And so the department already has your information. Likely you will just wake up one day and the debt will be forgiven. However, on the other hand, there are a lot of individuals who maybe have graduated a long time ago, that the Department of Education does not have their income information on file. And so for those individuals, they will have to fill out an application. We actually just saw the first glimpse of that application from the Biden administration just today or yesterday is when that came out. And so we do know a little bit more about the application and that process, but still that's forthcoming. That application is not currently available. And one thing that I would encourage you to do is to make sure that your contact information is up to date at studentaid.gov. And you can check that in your dashboard to make sure that you get relevant updates. You can also sign up for alerts for notifications with the Department of Education, which is another way that you'll likely get notified when this application comes out. Now, this forgiveness, and I'm not a tax advisor, so that's my disclosure here, is from what we've been told will be tax-free at the federal level, but there are some states that might tax it, even though it is tax-free at the federal level. And then expect legal challenges, the last thing that I would say here. And we've already seen a few lawsuits come out, and we're going to have to see how those play out in court. But there is some legal ambiguity in terms of whether this loan forgiveness will actually stick over time. There's also some ambiguity as to whether if you get the forgiveness and then it's stopped after you get forgiveness, whether you'll be able to keep that. I'm not a lawyer. I do not know. However, just know that there are some legal challenges out there, and you have to factor that in when you're thinking about whether blanket loan forgiveness will stick or not. So make sure to keep your eye on that. You can also read about legal analysis from individuals that essentially say one way or the other as to whether this is going to stick, and I'll leave that up to you. But that's blanket loan forgiveness. That is the first provision of this bill.